Hello and welcome to another video by me, Tacos. Today we are gonna making a Gamepass UI, and I will show you two examples of what you can do. So yeah, let's just begin. So as always, I prepared here a GUI that link in the description. You can find the GUI and the scripts in a model for Roblox Studio. But I'm gonna go through this and yeah. So first I have a frame. This is outer frame, and then I have a title. Then I have a container, which is just another frame. And inside of that frame I have a scrolling frame. And this is to on this one I have clip descendants, which basically gonna make so nothing outside of this is gonna show. And this one I'm just gonna turn off. And then I have image buttons. I have two image buttons, one for double speed and one for sword. So basically all the game passes you want are gonna be here. So inside of this I have a text table that's called cost. I have a Roblox icon for this little icon right here, the name of the game pass, the description of it, the game pass icon. I have a UI stroke, UI corner, and in here I have values, and I have the cost for it, the ID for the game pass, and the type it is. So basically I'm gonna show you how to make game passes, but also developer products. And the difference is game passes you own if you buy them forever. So it could be, for example, double money or double speed. But developer products are one-time purchases, or like, for example, you can buy money in games. That's the developer product. So you buy 100 money, you can buy it again and again. But game passes are only once. So in here you will have to specify which type it is. So I have this sword right here. This is the product, and this one is a game pass. So yeah, that's what's important in the GI basically. So let's get to scripting. So I'm going to make a, also I have this open button right here, which is then an image button. So let's make a local script, and let's name this, I don't know, client. Okay, let's see. So we're gonna first get the marketplace service. And this is basically going to handle all of the purchases and Game Pass purchases and everything. Then we're gonna get the players, or the player service. Then the players, the local player. And then we're gonna reference some of the frames and everything in here. So we're gonna do Game Pass open, which is gonna be script.parent.gamePass.open, the open button. And then we're gonna get the Game Pass frame, script.parent.gamePass.frame, this one. And then we're also gonna get the game passes, and that's gonna be Game Pass frame .container.gamepasses. And this is basically this frame, and inside of this it's all of the game passes that is contained. And then we're gonna get local game passes open, game passes open is equal to false, and local game passes debounce is also equal to false. So the first thing we're gonna do is we want to make it so we can click this and it will open. So let's do Game Pass open dot mouse button one click connect function. So we're gonna check if it doesn't have a debounce, and a debounce is basically so you can't click really fast on it, because we want to have like a 1 second, so you can only click once per second on it, else it will bug out. So if this is false, we're gonna set it true, so it's not gonna be able to pass through again here. And then we're gonna do if Game Pass open, then we want to close it. So we're gonna do Game Pass, actually we're gonna do else right here, and then we're gonna wait has the weight 1, and then we're gonna set the Gamepass debounce to false again. So this is basically, if it's open, we're gonna close it, and else if it's closed, we're gonna open it. So we're gonna start with the open. So we're gonna set the Gamepass frame to be equal. Or actually, we're gonna tween the position to udm2.new, and then we're just gonna copy the position of the frame right now. So the main frame right here. Actually, let's round this up to 0.5. Here we go. And we're gonna paste that in. And then we're gonna set the Gamepass open to true. So now it is open. And then when we close it, we're going to do basically the same thing. But instead of this, we're gonna do -1. And set this as false. So there we go. If we try it out right now, you'll see that it opens like this. Pretty simple. And also at the start of the game, we want to position these. So we can copy, I want this to be out of our view when we start. And we also want it to be visible. There we go. So now, for I, object, in pairs, game passes, get children, do. So what this is gonna do is it's gonna go through all of the children of this scrolling frame right here, and it's gonna just loop through them once. So what we can do here, the object is basically what the object is, and the I is just stands for index, but you don't need to know that for now. So we're gonna check if this object is an image button, then we basically wanna do object button dot mouse button one click connect function. So if this is an image button, then we're gonna check for anyone clicking on it. And before we have this, we're just gonna make some variables right here. So we're gonna do local ID is equal to object.values.id.value. So this is basically gonna be this right here. So we're gonna reference all of these. So we're gonna do cost object.values.id.cost.value, local product type object.values.type.value. And then we want to do right here, we're gonna check if this is a Gamepass. So if the product type is equal to Gamepass, then we want the marketplace service prompt Gamepass purchase, and we're gonna do player, ID. So this is basically gonna check if this is a Gamepass, and if it is, it's gonna make a prompt purchase. So basically, you know, when you purchase something, it comes up on this black screen, and you can click OK. That's what this is. So it's gonna check if this is Gamepass, then we wanna make a Gamepass purchase. And if this Gamepass purchase dot prompt purchase finished, or actually prompt Gamepass purchase finished, then we want to connect the function, and we want to basically set this cost to be owned instead, because we don't want any cost anymore. We want it to be owned. So I'm gonna set first the color of it. So cost.text.color3. Text color 3. Text color 3. It's gonna be equal to color3.new from RGB, and then we're gonna set it to like a greenish color. And then we're gonna set the text to be owned. And then I'm gonna set the position. So this is a little bit hard, but I'm gonna set the position to udm.new object dot size dot x dot scale. Sorry, objects. Sorry, not object. Object dot cost dot size dot x dot scale. 0 object dot cost dot position dot y dot scale, comma 0. So this is basically gonna set. This is basically gonna just set it in the middle. This right here. So now I have it a little bit offset from the middle. This is just gonna set it to the middle. And you can just put it in the middle, but I want it to be all in the middle with the icon as well. And speaking of the icon, we want to remove the icon, or at least not make it visible. So Roblox icon dot visible is equal to false. So there we go. And we want to do something if it isn't a Game Pass. So else if product type is equal to product, then we want to instead make a prompt marketplace service prompt product purchase player comma ID, like that. And then we're also gonna check the first time you go through all of these. We want to also check if you already own them, because we want to change the cost text like we did here. So we're basically gonna do if product type is equal to Game Pass, and actually before this we're gonna do local owns Game Pass. So we're gonna set this to false, and then we're gonna make a pcall function, and owns Game Pass is gonna be equal to marketplace service user owns Game Pass async player.userid, comma ID. So we want to check if they already have the Game Pass, and this is the function for it. If the player owns Game Pass async, then it's gonna return either I think false or true. So we're just gonna set this to true if it found one. And why we have a pcall right here is pcalls are often used for functions that can return an error, and all the functions with async relies on web services, so it can return an error sometimes. So we want to put this inside of a pcall function. Now let's do if product type is equal to Game Pass and owns Game Pass, then we want to do also if own Game Pass is equal to true. Then what we want to do is we're gonna set this to the same as right here, like that. So I think that is done actually. So we can try that out, but we will still need another script, but we can see if we have any errors. So if we go in here, we can see that I already own this because I have created this Game Pass. So I already own this, but if we click on this one, you'll see it will come up. Would you like to buy a sword? If I buy one, your purchase was successful, but I don't get any sword, and that's why we need a service script to handle all the giving. So we're gonna make a new service script right here, and we're just gonna name this like Game Pass. So if we go into the client script, we can just copy these services right here, and then we're also gonna do service storage. And I'm just gonna make this simple for just demonstrating what you can do. So I'm just gonna get local sword. So I'm just gonna go into the toolbox, search for a sword, and get a sword like this one. and I'm gonna name this sword and put this in server storage. So now we can do local sword is equal to server storage dot sword, and then players, actually let's do marketplace service dot process receipt is equal to function info. So this basically fires, this is a function kind of that activates when a product, a developer product is purchased or is going to be purchased. So we're just gonna get the player. So this is gonna be players get player by user ID info dot player ID, and this is just a table of different information, and one of them is the player ID. Then we're gonna check if the player, so if the player is still in the game, else. So if the player is not in game, then we just want to return enum dot product purchase decision not processed yet. So this is basically gonna cancel the purchase if they left the game. Else we're gonna make a new sword, and this is gonna be a clone of the sword, and we're gonna parent this to the player dot backpack, and we also want to return, we can copy this right here, we want to return the purchase granted. Now I'm gonna make the smallest script, the last piece, and this is for game passes. So player added connect function, like that, and then we're gonna get the player, of course, and then we're gonna do player dot character added connect function. So this is gonna fire when the character loads in, and we're gonna get the character here as well. And then we can get local humanoid is equal to character wait for child humanoid like that. And then we'll do if marketplace service user owns Gamepass async. Actually, let's do the same right here. Let's do local owns Gamepass is equal to false pcall function owns Gamepass is equal to marketplace service owns Gamepass async, and then we're gonna get the player dot user ID, and then we're gonna get the ID for the Gamepass. So for this I'm gonna make it for the double speed, so I'm just gonna check what the ID was right here, copy that, paste it in here like that. So if the player owns the Gamepass, then we just want to double the walk speed of the humanoid times 2. So this is an example. Now let's test it out and see if it works. So if we click this right here, you can see that it will show up right like this, and you can buy the sword, and if you buy it, you apparently don't get a sword. Let's see, why is that? Oh, I see. I forgot the dot parent, of course. That's a small mistake, but it should be working right now. So if we just open this and we buy a sword, you can see that we get a sword. And you can also see that I'm extra fast because I own this Gamepass. So yeah, that's about it. And of course, if you want to do something else, instead of, like, for example, giving a sword, you can do like, I've just noticed a kind of big mistake for future development. We're gonna do if info dot product ID, I think. I'm not sure if this is gonna work, but we also want to check if the Game Pass is the sword Game Pass or the product developer product, because otherwise you will only be able to use this for one thing, really. Just like that. And let's see if that works. I'm not sure actually, but you have to try sometimes. Yeah, so you get that one. So that works. So that is just for if you want other products, of course you want to have this. So right here, we're just gonna make a change. I just realized that this is kind of an inefficient way to do it, because, well, basically we'll have to do this for every ID. So I'll create a function for it instead. So local function owns Game Pass, and then we're just gonna do like this, a Game Pass, and then we're gonna get the player, and we're gonna get the ID. So we can copy this right here, and let's change the name of this as well, has Game Pass, just for it to not have the same function. And we're gonna set this to the ID instead, and then we just want to return the has Game Pass. So when you call this function, it's gonna return either false or true. So if we go down here and we do, and then we're gonna copy the ID, so double speed. So if this is equal to true, then we want to times this by 2. So let's see if this works. So you can see I have speed now. So there we go. Then we're gonna go in here, and so let's see if this is equal to true, because this yeah, we have to check if it's equal to true. So now let's test it out and see if it's working. So we basically get this, we can buy the sword. Like that, we got the sword, and you can see I'm extra fast. So yeah, thank you so much for watching this video, and I really hope you enjoyed it. And if you have any suggestions on what I should do next, please comment them, because it's so easy to run out of ideas. And thanks for everyone who's watching my videos, I really appreciate it. And yeah, have a good day. Bye bye.